United, a huge win against Liverpool. Not sure any of us really saw that coming. Fair play to Erik ten Hag for getting the response he got. Do you think they'll follow it up at Southampton?
Yeah, I do. I think they have to now. Again, I don't see there being many changes. I don't know why you would change many things. Probably Martial comes in for Langer, but in regards to them winning, the confidence is so big in football. It's probably one of the, is it a trait or an attribute? One of the most underestimated things that players need. You feel so much faster, stronger, technically aware, tactically better when your confidence is high. And these players weren't, for what? The last 12, 15 months, they won't have felt this. They won't have felt this confident in their capability as a team or individually. So, yeah, I think if they apply the same attitude, and it's easy to say that out of position, I think they have too much for Southampton.
Do you want to give us a scoreline?
I'm going to say 2-1 United.
Nice. On to the 3 o'clocks then. We will start at Brentford, who are at home to Everton. So This is a kind of game. Everton rescuing a late point against Forest. They would have hoped for all three at home, but Forest still carrying that promotion bounce, I suppose. So how did you view that one? A good point or a bad point for them?
Oh, bad point for Everton. It's a good point because it's last minute, so it's always viewed as a good point. But if you're telling me Everton are going to draw at home to Forest before the season, before the game, even prior to them losing the first two, it can't be deemed as a good point. Do you know what I mean? Because they're expected to beat them teams. Like, Everton's ambition isn't to avoid relegation, even though that's probably the reality of the situation right now. But their ambition isn't to do that. So you need to be beating the teams that are going to be realistically fighting relegation with you, if that is the case. So, and that is how I see Forest's season going in. A massive achievement for them is to avoid it, where Everton have ambitions of progressing. So you need to win them games.
You talk about confidence, though. Brentford losing in the last minute against Fulham, that's bound to send them into this game on a bit of a downer, isn't it? They had made such a good start.
Yeah and no. Again, it's always hurts last minute, feels worse than it actually is. But I think Brentford are still in, even though they dominated Man United, they wouldn't have gone into the Fulham game thinking it's done, thinking they're going to win every game. So I still think they're able to balance that a bit better than other teams that are expected to do certain things and have certain outcomes. But yeah, it will hurt. It would have hurt, but we know they're a different beast at home. So yeah, this isn't an easy game for Everton. Tough game. I'm not sure he would have chose this fixture. With their last game being Man United, yeah, I don't think he would have chose this if he had a choice. I'm going to say another draw, maybe.
Yeah. Scoreline on that?
I'll say 1-1
on each. And then we have.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate. 1-1. Sorry, connection went a little bit there. Next up, we've got Brighton at home to Leeds. Leeds presumably on a high from that result against Chelsea. It's been a really good start to the season for both these sides. 7 points from 9.
Yeah, this will be an exciting game. Good game to watch this for everyone. Obviously, both teams will go there with a belief or set up with the belief they can win. Both play attractive styles and different styles as well. I think Jesse Marsh's come in and really adapted to the Premier League, but kept a close identity what they're about in previous seasons. And Graham Potter, I don't think he goes under the radar, but the way he's able to transition teams and players, I think that is a massive plus for him. Like the club, I think the club's well run, but for him being able to Suma, White, like they've lost some top performers for their team in the last 3 seasons, 2-3 seasons, and they haven't missed a beat. It hasn't affected them to the way we assess top teams. Oh, Man United have lost so and so, so it's going to affect them this way. Where they've lost equally good players, and affected for their team, and they've still been able to maintain their level. So I think he deserves credit for that. But in terms of this game, I'll probably say Brighton 2-1. And again, it could be Leeds 2-1. Like, I think they both play to win, so there'll be a winner. There'll be goals in this game. But yeah, I'll say Brighton 2-1.
Definitely looks like a good one to watch, that. We talked about Chelsea. They're at home to Leicester. Leicester made a really poor start by their own standards. They'll have been disappointed with the way their season's gone. Obviously, Wesley Fofana has been the topic of discussion, potentially going to Chelsea. We don't know whether that's going to happen or not at this moment. But how do you see this game going at the Bridge?
I see Chelsea winning this game. Leicester in a bad place, but also there hasn't been many signs of them. The old Leicester, like, when they just perform and it's like, oh, that's where they are. Like, at least you're seeing that with Chelsea. Like, they're having some off days, but you still see the glimpses of top performers and a top team. I'm not really seeing that with Leicester, so I see Chelsea winning this game 2-0.
Another team in desperate need of a positive result is Liverpool. They're at home to Bournemouth. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have any doubts about this kind of game, but just a few niggling worries for Jurgen Klopp, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. I think the worry is players in regards to injuries. 100% that'll be a concern for him. But yeah, the performances, they haven't been ideal. Yeah, they've probably been better than the results suggest, but they haven't been dominant. Like Liverpool, them games are not close previous years. And I honestly believe Mane is huge. I think the fear that he creates for defenders in and out of possession, don't think they have another forward like that. I think people fear Salah in possession because he scores goals and he creates opportunities. But out of possession, I don't think you're worried that he's gonna nick it off you or gonna create havoc. Where Mane had the fear factor both ways, which, yeah, I think he's underestimated or has been underestimated.
Will they have enough to get past Bournemouth? And what sort
of I still think they beat Bournemouth. I still believe they beat Bournemouth, but it's at a place now where you're not surprised if any team drops points. It's not a surprise, and that goes for Man City as well after the weekend. So yeah, I'm going to say Liverpool win 2-0, but yeah, nobody's safe at the moment.
No. Talking of Man City, they entertained an old foe from last year. Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace go to the Etihad. It was a great result for Palace last year. We know that they're very capable on their day. City, you would think, will want to right the wrongs of that defeat.
Oh yeah, 100%. And what I do think will help City is that they played Newcastle with a similar style in terms of, we want to press them, but we've got outlets on the wings, and if we get it to them, we can cause a problem. So I'm guessing they're going to have learned from that, and that's because the profile of the players is. So I expect them to have learned from that and see, well, how do we reduce the number of attacks? Because it wasn't just the goals; it was the amount of times they create opportunities to get into the final third, to get into the box was more than I've seen. Was more than I've seen in recent weeks or recent seasons, to be honest. And it wasn't like it was a crazy setup from Eddie Howe Newcastle. It was like, wow, we're going to be hard to beat here, hard to break down, and then if we get it, it's going there. It's like Palace have that same type of player, that same profile. So yeah, I think City win, but again, I think it could be. I see Palace scoring, so I want to say 3-1 Man City.
And on to the half five, which sees our current leaders unbeaten, 3 wins from 3. Arsenal entertain Fulham at the Emirates. Fulham have had a great start to their campaign as well, and this is a bit of a free hit. Nobody will be talking about them in the build-up, but they'll fancy it. Yeah,
of course, and they'll fancy it. Like you said, they'll believe that they can get something out of it. Will it be genuine belief they can go there and win? Because you're going to have to score multiple goals, because Arsenal are scoring goals at the moment. So to have a shutout against Arsenal is probably a massive achievement. And I think if you could choose one or guarantee one and say, well, you might win, but you have a clean sheet. You take the clean sheet because it gives you a good opportunity to work off. But I see Arsenal scoring. I just see them scoring. So I'll be surprised if they don't come away with a win. So I'm going to say Arsenal 2-0.
And Saliba facing Mitrovic, that could be a new test for the young man, couldn't it, as well?
Yeah, different. I think it'll be different to what he's experienced. But again, like I said, he doesn't seem phased. He doesn't seem like he's reliant on any part of his game or overly reliant on any part of his game, which is a massive thing as any player, but as a defender, especially a young one. I'm like, you are quick, but you don't want to race. You're strong and aggressive, but you don't want to win every ball. And you're good in possession, but you're not trying to show us how comfortable you are. So all them traits and the way he's balancing them is massive for me.
Moving on to Sunday, Wolves, one of only 4 teams still looking for their first win of the season, and they entertain a Newcastle side that haven't lost yet in 22-23. How do you see this one going? It's getting to the point where Wolves do need to find a win by one way or the other, isn't it?
Yeah, they do. The performance was good in the first half against Spurs, but again, it just looked like they wasn't going to score. I see they're in the market for a striker, which makes sense. And again, did the way Man City play into the way Newcastle want to play? Are they able to dominate teams in possession, or does it leave them more exposed? So I don't know which way this game goes. But yeah, Wolves had a similar start last season, probably with better performances, similar results, but better performances, where at this moment in time, it's like they don't look like scoring. They're playing okay, but they don't look like scoring. So that being said, Newcastle do. So it pains me to say Newcastle win this game. I'm going to say 1-0.
Then on to the other 2:00 on Sunday, our penultimate game of the weekend. It's Aston Villa against West Ham. Steven Gerrard said that the performance levels in the 3-1 loss to Crystal Palace were unacceptable, while West Ham sit bottom of the Premier League after 3 games, and already a few West Ham fans, piping up about David Moyes. It's crazy how quickly football changes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But this is huge. This will be genuine concern from whoever team loses. If there's a loser in this game, I can see that amplifying the sound and the noise about their manager being sacked 100%. And I don't agree with it, but yeah, this is a massive game for both of their managers. But I think both fans are aware of it. So I'm going to go with Aston Villa because they'll have to make this an atmosphere where it will intimidate West Ham. I'm not sure it's going to work, but you would say the home advantage when your confidence is low is a big plus. But having played there, if they go behind, I don't know if they recover. But I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say Aston Villa 1-0.
And then the final game of the weekend, our Super Sunday Class C's, Nottingham Forest host Tottenham. And when Forest were given the Sky Sports treatment at home to West Ham a couple of weeks ago, they got the job done. This is a whole new level of task against an informed Tottenham.
Yeah, informed in terms of results, but performances. You're just waiting for it to sink. And again, the second half that was better. There was elements of it. And listen, Harry Kane, like, he scores goals, so it'd be silly to rule against him. I'm going to say Spurs win. I'm going to say Spurs win this game. I don't know if it's going to be overly convincing with the result, but I think they'll deserve to win. I don't think you could say that about many games. Even the Wolves game, did they deserve to win? Probably not. But I think they'll deserve to win this game, and they will. I'm going to say 2-0 Spurs.